Hi, everybody. This is Chris and Jackie, or in this case, Jackie and Chris, with Aprende Más. And we are a loving couple today, coming to you from San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato, Mexico. And we just want you to lock in and just have a good time with us with our discussion today. This is actually going to be a follow-up. So this is going to be a part 2 of being prepared for life. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let's go. So we actually had a previous podcast about being prepared for life. Life brings about change. And I just want to encourage you all not to be afraid of change. So previously we talked about having POAs, PODs, in case of illness or, death or what have you, to, have folks on your accounts. But I just want to flush it out just a little bit more, okay? And again, just so that you know that I want to encourage you all to be prepared for life. Don't always be in a situation where you are reacting, okay? And prepare for life. And life changes. And I said before, right? We have no more babies.
Thankfully. Yeah. Don't want no more babies. Ain't gonna have no more babies.
Can we adopt?
No. Grandbabies soon enough, but not babies, no.
We have no more babies. So we have no more 4-year-olds.
No.
He's 24.
24.
No more 1-year-olds.
21.
21. So with that brings about change. So let's get into it. And I hope you all, I want to also give you a second to grab pen, paper, grab your electronic notebook or what have you, however you take notes, because I want to just, give this information to you all so you can use it. Okay.
And if this is the first video you're seeing in the series, go back and watch the other video that came before it, how to dealing with death while living abroad. So watch that video. If you haven't, go check that out. Come back and watch this one as a follow-up.
What he said. So, something that happened to us recently, just to give you a little background, over the past, I want to say maybe 14, 15 months, we've actually lost 4 family members: my brother, my mother, my favorite auntie, on my dad's side, and my father-in-law. My father-in-law just passed away last month. So we have a little bit of experience.
Plus 2 more aunts on my side.
Yes, 2 more aunts on his side as well. So we've had a lot of loss, and as it relates to losing people, that's not always the ultimate. That's not necessarily the change that I'm referring to. Some of the change, like we mentioned a moment ago, is just your children changing age, right? Mm-hmm. So life changes every birthday, every rotation around the sun. Everyone gets a little bit older, right? Then also there can be challenges or just changes if someone may get sick. Doesn't have to be an ultimate illness, but sicknesses can bring about change. Aging brings about change. Changing your address brings about change. So just different things in our lives bring about change. So this portion of our conversation, it really is about dealing with maybe that change of guard, if you will. So, for example, I would encourage you all to assign an executor or POA. The other term would be a healthcare power of attorney. So the older we get, things are going to change in our lives. So I'm encouraging you all to get those people. It could be a team of people, right? Doesn't have to be one person. It could be 2 or 3, and make sure that they're on the same page with you, right? So,
and your executor is a person who is basically taking care of your will, your final wishes, making sure all that's in line. Your POA is your power of attorney. And then you have kind of two versions of that. There's a financial power of attorney who can handle your financial matters. Then there's a healthcare power of attorney who handles your healthcare matters. And those people may not be all the same person,
Correct.
right? And maybe somebody that, hey, I trust them with my money, but when it comes to my health decisions, they don't make good health decisions. So always making sure that you have the right people in place, make sure they know who they are, and that, you know, they have to going to have to make some decisions at some point about your health care, about your finances, about what happens to your accounts after your death, how your funeral is going to be held out. So you got to make sure you get people in those places that are trusted and are the right fit for the right job.
Exactly. And then to piggyback off of that, also having authorized users on your accounts. That's something that's so important, right? So, you know, if you're out, again, this is not always about sickness and death, right? You literally could just be floating in the Atlantic Ocean, living your best life on your cruise, right? And you're like, oh man, I forgot to do such and such, but I cannot do that, you know, piece of business because of my location or whatever, right? So your authorized user on that account can call into that company and actually handle that business for you. Right? They're not authorized necessarily unless you give them authorization to make changes. They're just authorized to maybe call and get the balance, call and make the payment. Because there's some companies that won't even take a payment unless you're an authorized user. It's like, okay, who are you? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And if you are not authorized on that account, they won't even talk to you. Have a great day. So those four things: POA, authorized user, executor, and healthcare power of attorney. Get them lined up, okay? Then make sure they know who they are, right? And give them as much information as you trusting them with, right? And you don't have to always go to a lawyer. You really can Google search these documents and print them out. And fill them out. Take them to you know, your bank or credit union and have them notarize it. Have the person who you're entrusting everything with notarize it, sign it. And I think our credit union charged like $3, or they probably said it was free because we're members. But it's a very nominal fee, very nominal. So sometimes I think we avoid certain things because we think there's a huge cost attached to it. But I promise you, even if it costs $5 or $10, Uncle Chris will hook you up.
No, Uncle Chris will not hook you up. You can pay for your own financial matters. That's not my job.
But I promise you, it'll be well worth it, you know, for them to be able to, for you to have everything prepared. Okay.
And I think if you think about it, the hard part of all this is really probably making the decisions rather than doing the paperwork.
And the conversations too.
The conversations for sure. The paperwork itself is not necessarily hard. There's plenty of resources out there for you to get help. You know, even if you went through like a legal Zoom, I think is maybe between $80 or $100 or something to get these types of paperwork taken care of if you want to go and get your hand held through the process. You don't have to go to a full-fledged lawyer or accountant and pay them, you know, $150 an hour to get this stuff done for you. If your finances are that complex, then maybe you already have that person. But for normal folks who don't have a whole lot of money, don't have a whole lot of, you know, assets, you know, having a document online, fill it out, get it notarized, get it taken care of, it's pretty easy. So just making sure that you're able to have those difficult conversations with the people you need to talk to and make those difficult decisions, i.e., you know, how do you want to be handled when you're in a coma or you're on your deathbed? How long do you want to be held on by life support? Those kind of things are maybe difficult to figure out, but the paperwork is not difficult.
Like then you just put in your specifics, you have all the dates and little asterisks. Don't sign anything until you get in front of your notary, okay? Don't fill it all out because you was hanging out at lunch with so-and-so. That's going to be null and void, okay? So take your paperwork and don't sign until you get in front of your notary. The other thing that piggybacks off of this, guys, is to make a document. It can be online, like with a Google Doc. We use Notion, some kind of secured online document. So in case that person or people that you are entrusting your life with, and your business matters with, if they're in another city, for example, right, or for us another whole country, there's an online document that they can log into and go, hey, this is the information that I need, right?
And I think that even just speaks to having multiple copies of whatever you do. So there's multiple paper copies, there's an online paper trail, all the things that you need so that, papers get lost, papers get thrown away on mistake, stuff that's online can get deleted on mistake. So having just multiple versions, multiple copies of all of this paperwork is going to be helpful, because whenever someone's gone or someone's in trouble, it always becomes very difficult to figure out where all the stuff is.
Correct. And what I'm going to encourage you guys to do with this document, right, is to have your list of medications and how you take them. A list of your current doctors and their contact information, right? Because we have medical situations in our own families between the two of us, right? And I looked at him, he looked at me, I'm like, what medicines you take? What medicines you take? And it's like, well, I guess we should probably put that down somewhere.
Right. And my medical situation is complicated because I've had a kidney transplant. So there's very expensive, very kind of hard to find medications that I need to have. It even gets more hard to find here in Mexico. And there's probably 3 or 4 different brand names you need to find. There's 3 or 4 different pharmacies you got to check and see if, this one doesn't always have it, that one doesn't always have it. So making sure that you have sort of all those backups in place, so she knows she can go to the list and say, okay, you take either Lamfatil, Cofatil, Zurabid, or what's the other one? I don't even remember what the other one is.
Look, I don't know.
Right?
Because that's
and I need to get them
right?
from either Vital.mx or PharmaSmart, or I need to go to the doctor to go get it.
And then
one
this
of those
is how
3
many
has
times
it.
you need it.
Right, and you need it, once or twice a month.
Right. Because he literally could be in the hospital. He's alive, but the doctors are like, they need that information. I'm like, I don't even know how to keep my husband alive, and then I inadvertently kill him because, or he actually killed himself because he didn't give me the information. But that's the importance of it. Like, for
actually,
real.
my kidney doctor works at the hospital, so it'd probably be pretty easy to get the information.
He could be on vacation.
So stop trying to kill me off. I don't understand why you're trying to do that.
He could be floating in the middle of the Atlantic. But that's the point. We should not assume, right, that everybody is going to be lined up to take care of you, to take care of me. Be prepared, right? So, online document, if it's not online, meaning like a Google Doc so that it's in the cloud, or a Notion, at least type it up for those of you who still have typewriters and word processors.
I hope nobody has a typewriter.
Whatever the case may be, type up the important information so that whomever is reading it and you've entrusted this information with, they can keep you whole and as safe as possible, okay? So once you have typed up that document, share it with whomever it needs to be shared with. And at the there are some people who are like, you ain't gonna get that information until I have shut all my eyes, right? They gone, right? That's okay. At least don't have it hidden. Don't have it tucked away in the back of the attic. At least you can have a letter or what have you in an envelope, in a folder, and go, and have it right there so folks can see it. So
they know when it's time to go to, the china cabinet in the kitchen, the third drawer on the right. It's an envelope in there. Read the contents of the envelope.
Ain't nobody gonna know a millionaire until I'm gone. Whatever the case may be, right? So, so that I think is super important. Okay, guys. So also usernames and passwords. Those passwords that we forget from time to time.
And I don't know why any of you are not using some kind of password manager at this point.
Oh, it's actually safer, right?
I know. Safe. I can't remember all my passwords.
Oh, no, it's a no.
I'd rather remember one to get into the password vault and be able to get my passwords that way. So a lot of those password managers have the ability for you to share access to the passwords with other people.
Yeah.
You can choose which ones they have access to, so they can't necessarily see everything, but the ones they need.
I have all of his passwords.
No, you don't. You can't remember your own passwords. Yeah, so use a password manager.
All right, so the last bit of info, my encouragement to you all is to have any policies or any bank accounts, FO, 401ks, all of the beneficiaries need to be updated. And, I've experienced this. My father passed away before my aunt, and she had him as a beneficiary. And after he passed and he was younger, she said, well, I wasn't expecting him to go first. So now I have to update my paperwork. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So whenever there is a change in your family dynamics, make sure that your paperwork gets updated, so that the right people are listed. Okay, so there's no issues, no drama to unfold. And life insurance, I want to encourage you all to get life insurance, even if it's a small policy, 10,000, something like that, so that it can really cover just your final expenses.
Yeah, and when you look at how much life insurance you want or need, there's always, okay, can we at least just cover the funeral? Mm-hmm. And depending on, what you want for your funeral, could be anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000, $15,000, depending on what you want for your final funeral. Mm-hmm. But there's also the fact of, are you leaving people behind that don't have an income? Are you their sole provider? You're going to probably need to leave them some money so they are provided for at least some amount of time.
Right.
Do you want them to live, job free for the rest of their lives? Okay, maybe you need a little bit more of a policy. So don't just think about what's happening. You're not getting any job free. Sorry. I ain't got it like that.
Believe me, I know. Yeah. I'm going to have to work.
Gonna have to do something.
I'm going to have to flip some chicken. Something.
Sorry, I ain't got it like that.
Not yet.
Yeah. Maybe at some point.
But that at least cover the services and the chicken. I promise you. If you could do that, your family, your loved ones will be so appreciative. If you can do that. I've seen it happen both ways, where there's insurance and enough to, cover everything with a little left over. I've seen it when it's just, you just make it safe. You make it right in. Mm-hmm. And then I've seen it when we've had to have a GoFundMe. Yep. And it is no fun.
Yeah.
It's no fun.
And that's not the kind of burden that you want to spread around to people. Yeah. That's something you want to just have taken care of. Yeah. It's a hard time for those that are involved, even those on the outside watching. Yeah. And nobody wants to have that extra burden of having to, come out of pocket and put some more money in because, we didn't prepare for our final days. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I apologize, y'all, if this is, seem like more of a repeat, but I think just having just like this, I think is just helpful. Repeating is okay until learning takes place. I've learned that somewhere from the Heart Church Ministries, but it's okay. It's good information, and I just hope you all take it to heart and use it. But there is help. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave us in that comment portion if you have a specific question. We'll be more than happy to help you, or we may even have a referral. But we just want to give you some good basic knowledge and information so that you can use it to help yourself and help your friends and your family. Okay.
And I will share that we are not insurance professionals. We are not end-of-life professionals. We are people with lived experience. So Good. Do your research.
Correct.
Make sure what we're saying is right and that you're not going down the wrong path. We all have different situations, so make sure that you're, getting good advice from trained professionals, legal professionals. Mm-hmm. We're just sharing with you what we know from our experience. Mm-hmm. So with that, we will catch you guys next week.
Yeah.
And cuidate.
He is so annoying. Cuidate. You all be well, okay? Be safe.
Peace, y'all.